Hey guys, welcome to today's lesson. I am going to teach you all how to put together and create a capability statement. If you don't know, a capability statement is basically like a one-page document that sort of highlights your company's core strengths, your differentiators, your experience in the industry, and it's often the one piece of documentation that you use to market your business to potential customers, especially in government contracting. And so it is an important piece of documentation that you should have as part of your foundational documents in your proposal. And so today we're going to talk about how you create that document. What I have before you today is just an example that I sort of put together just to kind of show you what it could potentially look like. Feel free to design it, to match your business brand, colors, fonts, whatever that is attached to your business. You can be creative in that way, but you still want to make sure that it is sort of a one-pager. And think of it like a resume for your business. You don't want anything that's longer than 1 page. Something that's like at a glance type of document that they can quickly do an overview to see, who you are. So the first section that we're going to talk about is your header section. And if you look over here on this particular example, you see there's a company overview. You see they have their business name or logo that will be usually at the top left or right corner, or sometimes you can put them in the center of the document as well. It just depends on how you're going to design it. You can design your capability statement using Word, as well as Canva. I use Canva a lot for pretty much all of my designs, and so it's pretty user-friendly. So I highly recommend that be a resource that you look into. And so you want to put your logo here in the top left corner or somewhere at the top. Put the title of capability statement. And then over somewhere in your header, you need to have your business name, your physical address with the city, state, and zip code, as well as your DUNS number. If you don't have your DUNS number, you can also put your UEI number if you've already registered in SAM, and list your cage code. Your cage code is a 5-digit code. It's not that many digits as you see here. And so you want to list that there. Your UEI number is going to be a mix of alphanumeric numbers. And so you want to list that there. And then you want to list a company overview. The company overview is going to include a brief description of your company. It's going to explain who you are, what you do, and what makes your business unique. And so this section should be no more than 2 to 3 sentences. If you have difficulties, narrowing it down, you can use an AI tool such as ChatGPT that will really help you to format it in a way that remains professional and concise, because you want to make sure that in those 2 to 3 sentences, you are capturing the full vision of your company. And so using an AI tool would help you, narrow that down. The next area that you want to focus on is your core competencies. In the core competencies, you're going to highlight your specific services and products that your company offers. You want to be clear and concise as well, because you don't want to leave any room for mixed interpretation. And so your core competencies should align with what your government or commercial clients need. You don't want to list core competencies that won't be relevant to your client, because it would be pointless, right? To say, oh, we're an expert in cleaning, but we want to be able to staff nurses. That just wouldn't make any sense. And so they should echo exactly the needs of your commercial or government clients. Some examples could be general and specialized automotive repair services, appliance repair and maintenance, tailored solutions for auto equipment procurement if you're in the automobile industry. Okay, so that's an example. The next section that we're going to focus on, let me go back. Also, too, with the core competencies, they should be in bullet style. Quick statements, quick, 2 to 3 words that it's clear and concise, and it fully shows what you offer. Okay. Next section we're going to look at is past performance. So in this particular section, this is going to showcase your track record of delivering successful results. So you can include a few projects or contracts that your company has completed. And you also want to emphasize if any of those contracts were with government agencies, whether they were state or federal. If they weren't, that's okay. You can still list your commercial clients on there. You would just list them, in orders of relevance. And so when you're submitting your capability statements over, depending on how many services that you offer, you want to make sure that you are catering your capability statement to the needs of your client, okay? If you do offer multiple services, it is completely normal to have a different variation of your capability statement, because sometimes you may target, like, for example, you may be in the cleaning service, the cleaning industry, but you clean for various clients, such as it may be healthcare, it may be the transportation industry where you're working maybe with buses or rail cars. And so those are two different industries, right? And while they all are housed underneath the cleaning industry for you, your client may not be a transportation client. It may be a hospital. It may be, a healthcare facility. And so you want to highlight that experience from a healthcare facility standpoint of where you successfully provided those services. Also, too, if you're just starting out and you don't have the past performance, you can also use the past performance from yourself. If you're coming in with the experience already, where you've done it maybe in another line of work, you can bring that experience over to your company. Think about it in terms of when you're hired at a new company, that company now takes your experience and it now becomes a part of their services. They use that. And so you can do the same thing with your business. If you're coming into the business with extensive experience, then your business has the extensive experience because you are a part of the team. And so that is a way that you can use that past performance there to show your results. Some examples that you could list here would be successfully provided, going back underneath that automotive example, successfully provided specialized automotive repair for U.S. defense fleet vehicles valued at $500,000. Contracted with the state of California for appliance repair in government facilities valued at $250,000. Those are just some examples. You want to be able to show not only that you've worked with a particular client, but you want to show the value of it, to show metrics. Clients love to see, metrics in terms of numbers. And so you definitely want to include that inside of your past performance. The next area that we want to talk about is differentiators. And differentiators is basically what sets you apart from your competitors. So you want to list unique qualities, certifications, technologies that you may possess, processes that your company chooses that you feel will be the best choice for your client. So an example for that would be, we're certified minority-owned business. We're woman-owned. We're service-disabled veteran-owned business. We offer 24/7 customer support with a 98% satisfaction rate. We have proprietary repair technology that reduces our downtime by 25%. Those are different differentiators that will set you apart, and those are worth knowing when you give this over to your client. The next area that I want to look at is NAICS codes. Now, I know that there are tons of NAICS codes that you could use, but in cases of when you're targeting certain clients, you only want to use the NAICS codes that are specific for that industry. So, for example, first I'm going to go over what NAICS code actually stands for. I hear people say it totally different. I hear NAC code, I hear NAICS, but I call it NAICS code. NAICS code stands for the North American Industry Classification System. And these are specific codes that the government uses to classify businesses. It helps them to be able to perform procurement opportunities in a way where it helps keep things classified in organization and systems and things of that nature. And so when you include these codes, you want to include the codes that represent your business services, because the government agencies are going to use these codes to be able to find you, okay? So, for example, underneath the automotive industry, you could have an example such as general automotive repair, specialized automotive repair, appliance repair, and those are just a few to name. But what you want to do is you want to do a simple Google search, and you can search what your codes are in Google, and it will pull up the NAICS code for it. And then another way that you can just kind of check to make sure that it is a code that the government is still using is you can go inside of SAM and start listing that code underneath the filters and then see what results come up from that. If you're not getting enough results, then maybe you want to change your NAICS code out. And another area that you should also focus on as well is your PSC codes. Those product service codes are another form of classification system that the government uses to be able to find vendors and classify services for businesses as well. So if you're not getting enough results underneath your NAICS code, then you should also look underneath that PSC code as well. And you can find PSC codes on Google, but it's a little bit more trickier than just doing a Google search for NAICS codes. And so you can look both ways in terms of that. All right, the next thing I want to look at is certifications. So certifications are pretty much certifications that your business hold. So those could be woman-owned, those could be veteran-owned, those could be ISO certifications. These are just basically certifications that will give you a competitive edge in government contracting. And so this is the section where you're going to list those. That pretty self-explanatory. Pretty much all of these sections will be in some form of a bulleted list to give you more space and to also make sure that you're keeping it short and concise. All right, so last area that I want to look at is the key clients. So the key clients is basically going to be the area where you showcase off any of your past or current clients, especially those that are in the government agency. You want to list your clients there so that it just gives you credibility. So if you work with the U.S. Department of Defense, you want to list that you worked with them before. If you work with the General Services Administration, list that. If you work the state of California, list them on there because that gives you more credibility and speaks more value to the services that you offer. And so that pretty much sums up the capability statement. Down here in the footer, you can put your contact information, your website, your address, a good contact email for you, and as well as a telephone number. But remember, a capability statement should be short. It should be a one-pager, so you want to make sure that you keep it concise, but you also want it to be visually appeasing. And so use clean and professional designs. I know we can get real fancy in terms of, making it look nice, and you may think it's nice, but is it professional? Okay. And so we want to make sure that we're keeping it professional, make sure that your document is easy to use. It's not flashy. It's not harmful on the eyes. If you have brand colors that you may specifically like, I would always recommend that you do a search, do some market research to identify what are professional colors that are easy to read and well received by the professional industry, because hot pink and blue may be cute to you, but it may not read well in terms of the type of clients that you want to target. Also, to make sure that you modify your capability statement so that it targets different clients. So when you start with your master capability statement, create several different variations depending on the services and the clients that you want to target, so that when you identify an opportunity, you're not going back having to reset up the capability statement. That's already done. These should be staple pieces in your proposal. So this is an area that you definitely want to make sure that you are working on and you already have ready to go, because it's going to be your resume, for your business. It's a marketing tool. Also, make sure that if you list your contact information, it's visible, it's easy to find, and it has all the necessary details for clients to contact you. And this is just an example. Like I said before, you can be creative. You can create this through Canva. I actually found this through Canva that someone had already created. So I felt like it would be a good idea, a good example to show you what one may look like. So I hope this was very insightful for you. Get started if you haven't on the capability statement. And if you have any further questions, you can always reach me at contact@govconforsmallbusiness.com. And so I hope this was very helpful for you guys. All right, have a good day.